The bitter wind swept across the construction site, carrying dust and the sound of clanging metal. Edward Grant, a millionaire real estate developer known for his cold business sense, stepped out of his sleek black car, adjusting his coat against the chill. He was here to inspect one of his newest projects, a luxury apartment complex rising where an old orphanage once stood. The irony was not lost on him. His company had built dozens of places like this, but none could fill the emptiness left in his heart since the night his 8-year-old daughter, Lily, vanished. That was 15 years ago. Edward had buried himself in work, building an empire brick by brick, dollar by dollar, hoping that success could silence the ache of loss. But grief, like a shadow, always followed him. As he approached the scaffolding, his assistant spoke beside him, "Sir, the workers are ready for your review." Edward nodded absently, until his eyes caught someone high up on the steel beams. A young woman, wearing a dusty orange helmet and worn gloves, was tightening bolts with practiced precision. Something about her posture, the tilt of her head, it sent a jolt straight through his chest. When she climbed down and turned her face toward him, Edward's world stopped. Her eyes. Those bright hazel eyes, the same ones that once called him Daddy. For a moment, the world blurred. He blinked, his throat tightening. "That's impossible," he whispered. The worker noticed him staring and frowned slightly, wiping sweat from her face. "Everything okay, sir?" He struggled to find words. "What's your name?" "Lila, sir. Lila Moore." The name hit him like a gust of wind. So close. So familiar. He dismissed his assistant with a wave. "Miss Moore, could I have a word?" They stepped aside, and Edward searched her face, desperate to understand. "Where are you from, Lila?" She hesitated, clearly unsure why he was asking. "I grew up in foster care. Don't know much about my parents. Just bounced around until I was 18. A cold shiver ran down his spine. His Lily had disappeared near an orphanage. Could it be? Edward's voice trembled. "Did you ever have a bracelet? Silver, with a heart charm?" Her eyes widened. "How did you?" She pulled something from beneath her shirt, a small, tarnished bracelet. Edward's knees nearly buckled. That was my daughter's." Silence hung heavy between them. Lila's breathing quickened. "Your daughter," she whispered. "She was taken from me 15 years ago," Edward said, his voice breaking. "Her name was Lily Grant. You look exactly like her." Tears welled up in Lila's eyes. I've had this bracelet for as long as I can remember. I thought maybe it belonged to my mother." For a moment, neither spoke. Just the sound of wind and distant hammers filled the air. Then, trembling, Edward reached into his coat and pulled out a photo, faded and creased. A smiling little girl with hazel eyes and dimples. Lila gasped. "That's me, or it was me." Edward felt his heart crack open. "Lily?" Her lips quivered, then she nodded, tears spilling down her dusty cheeks. He didn't think, he just pulled her into his arms, holding her as if letting go would mean losing her again. Workers around them paused, some smiling softly, others wiping their eyes. For the first time in 15 years, Edward felt warmth flood his soul. Later that evening, they sat together in a quiet diner, father and daughter, lost and found. Lila told him how she'd been found wandering alone as a child, too traumatized to speak, and placed in the foster system under a new name. No one ever traced her back to him. She'd grown up believing her parents had abandoned her. Edward's hands shook as he reached across the table. "I never stopped looking. Not a day went by when I didn't pray I'd find you." Lila smiled through tears. "And I thought I didn't belong anywhere. I guess I was wrong." He chuckled softly, the years of pain melting from his voice. "You belong right here." Weeks later, Edward canceled the luxury apartment project. Instead, he rebuilt the orphanage, the same one where his daughter had once lived. Only this time, it bore a new name, the Lily Home for Lost Children. When reporters asked him why, he simply said, "Because every lost soul deserves to be found. Sometimes love just takes a little longer to find its way home." Moral: no amount of wealth can replace love or heal a broken heart, but kindness, patience, and faith can lead even the most lost among us back to where we belong.